Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So as you can see in the title of the video, guys, I'll be exploring what it was like for me as a female going through basic training. And if you don't know what basic training is, it's basically the training that you have to go through in order to equip you to become a soldier. So I'll be giving my take, my experience, and whether or not it's the same training that the males go through. So it will be quite interesting to explore that with you guys, to give you that insight. So guys, I'll be back in just a second. So I get this question quite a lot in terms of training for females, because obviously everybody automatically thinks that, you know, it's probably going to be separate training for males and females. So, you know, most times it's always perceived that females would have an easier training. Unfortunately, that's not the case for me. Well, it's not the case. It's not the case when it comes on to the army that I was, when it comes on to the British Army. That was not the case. In the army, there is no what would you call it? You pretty much go through the same training as the males would go through. The only thing that's different is the weight requirement, and that's basically obviously because males tend to be stronger than females, and the run time for males and females a bit different, because again, obviously males are known to be faster than females, but everything else was pretty much the same. You had to go through the same training. You had to be in the field with the guys, because that's just pretty much how it is. You're getting the same experience with the guys. You're getting the same experience with the guys. So what was basic training like for me, and did I like it, and so on? Obviously, I don't think it was mainly the training that I had a problem with. It was more so that I always ended up in the field when it's really cold, and when you're used to hot weather, which I think it's a challenge for most of us from Commonwealth. When you're used to hot weather, you tend to struggle a lot, obviously having to train in cold weather. So I think for me, one of my main issues was the cold. It was too cold for me, and I suffered a lot regarding that, and it made the training miserable for me. Don't get me wrong, it was really hard, I must say. So put the cold aside. So that's the first downfall for me. When I started my training, it was really cold, and as a female, you don't really want to be in the field, especially when you're, you know, that time of month, and you couldn't even shower. If you don't know, when you're out in the field, you have to basically tidy. You can't, there's no shower pretty much. They're training you to live a rough life just in case you're at war, you're in Afghan, etc. So can you just imagine a female being out at the time of the month, and you can't have a shower, you have to tidy? That was hard, you know, and then the cold coupled with that was really hard. So those are the first two for me. Next thing, going to the training, how was it like for me? Was it hard? Was it easy? Again, maybe because the cold was such, it made me so miserable. Maybe I would have had a better experience going through the training, but it was so cold and I was always miserable. But putting that aside, it was a bit hard in my opinion, because some of the things you had to do, I don't think, in my opinion, I don't think females should go through that, you know. I don't know, it's a tricky one, because a lot of females will say, oh, but the training that we have to, our body have to go through, it's a bit much, especially when you have to carry a burden and you're looking at 15 kg that you're carrying, and loads of different things. I don't think we're equipped. I mean, we do it. I'm not saying that we're not capable, because, you know, I know a lot of everybody's all about equality, but in my opinion, I can never be the same as a man, and I don't want to be. I don't want to be stronger. I don't want to be equal with a man, because we're not the same. We're built differently. And I know a lot of females, even in the military, when I was training, females tried to run faster than the guys. They tried to do this. For me, I know my limitations. So I'm always of the belief that females should get a way easier training than the males. Even though the weight bearing is different, still we have to still do everything that the guys do. And I get it. They're looking at the fact that if you're a soldier, you're a soldier, and it shouldn't matter and so on. But I still thought that it was a bit much, you know. It was really hard. It was really hard for me with most of the training. I was a pretty fit girl, running and all of that. But to be carrying, as I said before, a 15 kg burden on your back for miles, to be in the field at that time of the month, then it's cold, to be doing lots of maneuvering with weapons, because I've never been a fan of weapons. I fired them because obviously that was my job. And, you know, I've always said that I've always liked to be a soldier, but I honestly thought that it wouldn't be so hard for females, because obviously we have limitations. We're not as strong as the men. And yeah, so all in all, for me, my experience wasn't the most amazing. I didn't like it. I must say, I would never, if I had the choice, I would never rewrite history and go back to basic training to become a soldier. I wouldn't, because nah, I don't think I was cut for it, pretty much so. And then the next part of it was, if you think about it, like when I'm back home and someone shouts, when you're back home and someone shouts at you, you see that as a huge insult. But the army is filled with that. It's filled with degrading you, people speaking down to you, and some of these individuals are younger than you. So then that's a really big deal. That was a big deal for me, because as a Jamaican, you know that age matters. Age comes with grace. So an older person would take precedence over a younger person. But that wasn't the case in army. They just talk to you anyway. And I was a bit rebellious in terms of, I used to talk back, so I get into so many trouble. Yeah, but I guess if you have the mindset and everything, you should be fine. But for me, I'm just speaking about my experience. The training was too hard for me. It was too cold. I just think a lot of things made me miserable. As much as from I was younger, I wanted to be a soldier, but I didn't know it took that much. And when I eventually became a soldier, I realized it was not really for me. So I think sometimes it's trial and error, and you realize, okay, this is not necessarily what I want with my life. You understand? So, not deterring anybody from joining, or not deterring anybody from going down this path. But for me, like I said, I just thought that males, the training was so different, but it's not. Yeah, when you're in the field, you're pretty much mixed up with the blokes. The next thing is you have to stay up all night to guard. You call it stag duty. There was this funny video on Facebook when someone fell asleep on stag. And stag is like you have to stay awake, like you're securing. You're the one on watch duty to see if the enemy is coming. You know, because it's a stimulation type of training when it comes down to basic training. So they're training you for any eventualities of what the real world might bring to you. And you can't fall asleep on stag. If you fall asleep on stag, you get into so many trouble. Because if you think about it, if you fall asleep on stag and the enemy approaches, then everybody is dead. One of the next things I didn't like about training was they put the fear of God in you. Like, they used to scare us, like, in terms of telling you that if you get captured by the enemy. And I was like, I remember when I was in basic training, this was in 2013. And I sat there, I'm like, Lord, what did I get myself into? I left Jamaica for this, but then obviously it's worth it. Obviously it was worth it in the end. But then they scare you, like, they tell you that if the enemy capture you, like what you should say, what you shouldn't say, and they prepare you for stuff like you might get, you might get abused, loads of horrible things, and they didn't even use the word abuse. The things that they say that the enemy might do to you, it's scary. And I mean, me and my friends, my black friends, me and my friends used to just, woo, like, you know what I mean? I just remember believing that so much that, oh my God, if I go to war, this can be a reality that I might get captured and brutally, all the worst things you can think could happen to a female. It's not only females, because they do it to males as well. So yeah, it was pretty, I would say the basic training can be very traumatizing. Because I remember when I even finished, I felt traumatized leaving. And that's the army, that's what I'll say to anyone. The army, they always say to me that you go in, it's like a sausage. So you're just there. So we're trying to make a sausage here. This is what the analogy they usually tell me. So they're trying to make a sausage, and you're put into the machine as, like, you ever see sausage before it's made? It's like minced meat. So you're minced. But then they put you in the machine, and obviously you're minced in the machine. You're not really whole. And then after training comes out this old person that they created, because they're molding you into the individual that they want you to be. So that it's kind of like, I don't want to say, it's like I think it's mental. You're mentally programmed. I think you're literally mentally programmed, in my opinion. And then you're what they want you to be. Because even my army number, I've left the army a couple of years now, and I still remember that number, but I can't remember a lot of things. How am I able to remember that number, but I can't remember other things in my life? And it's because that number is so programmed, in my opinion, into your head that it's like, I think I'll remember this number when I'm even old. You recite it so much. I know recall, I know how recall works and so on, but this is just strange that that's identification number that you're given the first day you start basic training. I still remember that number to this day. And like I said, that really creeps me out, because I'm like, oh my God, like, this is crazy. But yeah, overall, it wasn't for me. It was hard. I found military training very difficult. And like I said, I felt like it should have been way easier for females. But again, they're just proving a point that you're a soldier. So if you're gonna be a soldier, you have to do the things that a soldier needs to do, whether you're a female or not. But yeah, that was my overall experience. Not much into great details. But I will do other videos that goes into a bit more details of other experiences that I've had. But so far, that's really it. Like I said, not deterring anyone, because the opportunities are vast, endless. There's so many opportunities with joining the British Army. So I don't regret it. It has done a lot for me. I am who I am today because of joining. And I'm very grateful, to this country and to the army. So again, it's not to deter anyone. It's just my honest opinion, my experience. And I'm sure a lot of people would share the same. Nobody wants to go back to basic training because it was like hell. It wasn't nice. It's doable though, guys. There are fun parts to it. It's doable. But it's not designed. It's not designed for the faint of heart. It's not designed to be easy. It's designed to challenge you, to push you to your limit. That is what basic training is designed for. And that's really it. So guys, I do hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it very interesting, me sharing my experience. Please do leave a comment in the comment section. Give this video a thumbs up. Until next time, Godspeed. Big ups. Bye guys. Bye.